focus more on that. So basically now we have our own AI model that we've put together, and then we use it for both public and private AI applications, and kind of have a unique methodology and approach to some of the stuff there. But ultimately, just here to learn and contribute if possible.
That's great. Thanks for walking us through that. What do you see as some of the? By the way, I just turned recording on for anyone who's joining the call. Hey, Alula. Hello, Lou. Hello, Shamir. So good to see you. So yeah, can you talk a little more about Dragon Labs and some of the applications and case studies you have for it?
Yeah, definitely. This is something we could go pretty in depth on, but essentially we started off in 2020 trying to learn more about what it meant to build real products and to have a real business that operates in the crypto industry. And then throughout the upcoming hype cycle of 2020 going into 2021, we got kind of, I guess you could say, caught up in what we thought mattered. We got caught up in where the noise was, and we put a lot of energy there. We did very well, but once the noise faded, we found that things didn't work the way that we thought they did. And then the further we got into the depths of what became like this extended bear market, we really just doubled down on trying to figure out what is specifically the discrepancy between what is understood and how things actually work. And this ended up leading into actually a 2-year research series where we did about a dozen different token economic designs. We studied every different type of liquidity mechanism you can design. We managed our own pools and basically reverse engineered every single variable for how crypto price works. And then once we had the data on that, we actually were able to put together a first principles approach essentially on how price works in crypto and how to create sustainable models for token economic frameworks that are just more efficient and more ethical compared to just like the dollar for dollar averages and how it moves through that. And then in parallel,
I can't wait to try it. I'm designing tokenomic models.
Oh, wonderful. We'll have to break off later.
Yeah.
And then closing out in parallel, we've been working on AI systems and data privacy systems for almost 2 years now, 2.5 years. And recently, after releasing Aionix Network with our first AI model out there, we've been focusing on building different types of public applications or public agents using our AI model. So recently, one of the most interesting things we put together was a community AI agent for the quant network community, the QNT token. And essentially, we took a version of our private AI model. We ran an instance locally, so it all stays contained in its own network. And then we trained it very specifically on certain types of like verified documents. So like project information, PR, blog posts, things that weren't speculative third-party information. So when you look at something like ChatGPT, you go from the top down, you're searching out through internet sources, and it could be completely arbitrary. It could be something that was AI generated or anything in between. So by using this foundation of only verified information, we've essentially positioned ourselves to where we can create these AI systems that are much more accurate and consistent than a lot of the larger model approaches. Now, it can't do everything. It's not a one-size-fits-all AI, but in one specific application that it's purpose-built for, it's fantastic. And while it's maybe a bit niche, we actually ended up getting a shout-out from Gilbert Verdian, the CEO of Quant Network. And it's just something that's pretty exciting for us because this is someone who is not traditionally interacted with much in the crypto space. So to have like a government hacker to validate our AI approach so early on was pretty exciting.
Yeah, well, that's amazing. Verified data sets, crypto native, crypto expert. And so do you have an underlying LLM or open source stuff that you're using as part of it, or is this a completely unique model that you've built from the ground up?
So we use an open source framework, and then we apply our own methodology, our own like data ordering and how we interact with it. But at its essence, right now we're using Mistral, and then we just run everything locally. So
very cool.
Again, the idea is that instead of having these giant models with like really vague context parameters that are really difficult to get it to go into the right spots, we instead have a very focused approach with a smaller model. That isn't, again, it's ran locally, so it's its own instance, so it can't leak the data or something like that.
Fantastic.
It works a lot better when you specifically build it out for that.
Yeah, no, I love it. I can't wait to try it both for the token models that I'm working on, but also for the agent that we're building at Blocksy, which is a crypto native AI agent that's really purpose built to help with e-commerce that isn't DeFi trading, which is digital assets, tokenized real world assets, ERC20 tokens or NFTs. And so can't wait to see if we can train our agent or incorporate your model or make your model an option that our agent can use when when it makes sense. That would be fantastic. One more question for you, and then I want to go to Alula and Boone and other folks on the call and give everyone a chance to talk about what they're working on in agentic commerce. Dragon, are there ways that you're intersecting with the decentralized AI world now? Are you using any decentralized compute or decentralized storage or decentralized models?
Yeah, so we have definitely a hybrid architecture. So a lot of our primary databases use like Google Cloud. We're part of their startup ecosystem. We also do use different types of decentralized products, different types of streaming services for on-chain data. And then we also build our own infrastructure to get data sets from certain sources where we've deemed it more accurate or more efficient to do so. So it's a little bit of everything. Ultimately, we focus on making things that are modular. So even if something in one particular application or build is using a certain type of technology, it can be used in other ways. A great example, Aonix AI is actually available through a set of internal APIs that we have. So even when we build different types of, let's say, a product for a private client or a small business, we can actually then just send calls to our own APIs and leverage our own model for things that have already been built out for certain agentic tasks and stuff versus having to build everything from scratch. So if there's a service or a project or an ecosystem that is interested in getting involved with us, it's actually quite easy for us to do so and integrate even at like the proof of concept level within like a week.
That's great. We want to make it easy. Crypto needs to stop making it hard. Very, very cool. Alula, would love to hear from you, and then we'll just open it up and have a group discussion after everyone does their intros.
Thanks for adding me, Eric, and it's really nice hearing about Dragon Labs and all that you guys are working on over there, which is exciting. I'm assuming it's just a brief introduction. I guess my name is Alula Zurian. I'm the founder of Edge Consulting Labs. I come from a background of traditional finance, accounting, tax, but I was bit by the automation and technology bug early on in my career. So I've always been around kind of a lot of this different tools and things that are out in the market. And over the past, I'd say 2 years or whenever ChatGPT came out, the acceleration of my learning has just completely changed. I feel like I'm a new person today because of that. I even realized recently I like JavaScript now, and I never even knew how to spell JavaScript before a few years ago. So, but right now I'm working on a few projects. For a commerce perspective, what interests me is one of the projects is called Edge Flow. We're focusing on specifically like inventory management for businesses. And so for the Hedera Hello Future Hackathon, I'm basically building an N8N workflow that allows basically like ERP inventory information to flow in and then automatically gets tokenized on the Hedera blockchain. And so it's just I think from an AI agent perspective, it's helping small businesses be able to understand what's going on with their inventory, what are trends, what are things that are relevant. And I think like the final thing I'll say is, back in the day, they used to say, in the future, there'll be a PC in everyone's home. Today, we have a PC in everyone's pocket. In the future, I think relatively soon, there will be AI in every business, AI in every home as well. So I think, that's kind of the focus. And I think from a collaboration perspective, especially hearing, the quick potential to onboard, projects and things, I think that could be a really great synergy for us as well. So.
Yeah, thanks for sharing all that. So I guess I'll ask you the same question I asked Evan, which is, are you using the decentralized AI world in any way at the compute layer or in terms of models or plan to, or tell us a little bit more about your infrastructure as it stands and how you want to maybe progressively decentralize it, as many of us do.
Yeah, so for the Hello Future hackathon right now, which is my main focus, I looked at ELIZA, I think OS as a
Mhm.
potential solution to use, and then today there was a office hour, and I was introduced to the Hedera AI SDK. So I'm kind of like looking at maybe something native to Hedera potentially, or something that could be more cross-chain, because I think also, stable coins are a big factor. So if businesses are accepting payments in stable coins in the future,
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
probably more chain agnostic and
I-
things like that.
Yeah, for interoperability, have you looked at Wire Network? They're
Yes.
good. Okay, great. Yeah, I
Love
love
Wire.
that. Yeah,
I have a t-shirt at home. My wife wears it often from the. But so you're saying that that'd be a good potential avenue to consider, maybe for.
yeah. Wire Network, Wire blockchain is in testnet right now, and it looks like maybe in September it will be going to mainnet, and it is what they call a universal transaction layer. So it basically is just the one chain that connects to all the other chains for you, and so basically they'll mint a deed to the underlying asset that could be an NFT on Ethereum or an ERC20 on Solana, but you only have to worry about Wire. And I love what they're doing, because it will really simplify blockchain for most users. So
That's awesome. Yeah, because part of the challenge too is like, if you're creating NFTs or non-fungible token, real world asset records for these businesses and putting it on the Hedera, ledger or whatever. If the customer doesn't have a wallet or something like that, it just kind of sits on there. So I was like, okay, well, we'll just burn it every time, burn the tokens every time they sell an asset or something, right? But maybe to your point with Wire, that could potentially open up liquidity and other, use cases where you can potentially
exactly
plug in. So yeah, very cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Check it out, and I can introduce you to Doug, who runs their partnerships, if you'd like that.
Please, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. No, great to hear what you're doing. It's exciting. I've got a project that's also looking at warehouse information on blockchain, and it's for charity donation warehouses. It's a big problem. Like when people donate to charity, where did it go? And so a public ledger is the perfect way to give people confidence that their charity donations go to the right place. And so we're working with a network of warehouses that manage charitable donations from Amazon, Walmart, Home Depot, big 40-foot containers of basically surplus stuff. And now they have a way that mostly volunteers who work in these warehouses from communities of faith-based organizations, and they now, with our phone app we built, can just scan the stuff coming off the truck. The AI puts a valuation on it, opens up an NFT, and so there's a picture of the stuff and a QR code put on it, and then a warehouse mapping module in the dashboard. So now you see all the stuff you have in the warehouse, where it all is. And then the communities of faith that bring their parishioners, their community of people in need to the warehouse, can make like wedding registry wish lists of stuff that they really need for like socks, or food. And so so now the pastors have visibility into what's available, as do their communities. And now the network of warehouses potentially can have a utility token and do credit swaps with each other, because they didn't even have visibility into each other's warehouses, because they're all using different software and different stuff. So I love the use case of tracking stuff on blockchain and using AI with
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think the use case you described, the model is perfect, right? Transparency is like the most important thing. Like how many other things in our lives, I wish our voting system was on a
right. That's right.
More of our lives were
that's what I love about working in putting blockchain into the nonprofit world or public services or government world, because it's a natural fit there, where all those systems need transparency. We're kind of jamming a square peg into the round hole with ZKs and stuff like that when we try to make it work for private enterprise, where I want to keep my stuff private. I don't want to share it, so it's not a natural fit in a lot of ways.
Eric, I love that. We're doing some similar stuff. It sounds like you guys are way ahead of us, but I'd love to break off at some point and dive more into like proving impact and validating that. And especially too, like, then how do you take the validation, which is one thing, authenticating where the value went and how much and what it did and what was the actual impact of that dollars. But then the next question too that we're looking at is then, well, how do you almost gamify that, in the same way that you have like the social actions of donating, of participating in like philanthropic activities are incredibly valuable, and people love to showcase what they've done. But how do you specifically turn that into something? We actually have a whole game that we've built. It's essentially a Pokemon game.
Wow.
Where everything in the game is actually a digital twin of a real world impact. So like a donation to X or to Y triggers a $5 credit for this, which issues this NFT, which is this game asset. The idea is that your progress is actually in parallel to your actual impact.
That's
so just love to hear that you're thinking on that too.
That's phenomenal. No, we have to set up a call to see if we can incorporate your gamification into. I'm going to drop the link here in the chat for the Google Meet. It's called Grace Point Solutions, what I was talking about. And let me find my chat button. Oh, here it is. I've been doing so many Zooms, I forgot what it was in Google Meet. Yeah, Grace Point Solutions is what I was just describing. And yeah, we should get a call really soon to see if we can add your gamification stuff. And that's really smart. So who would like to go next? Let's see, or any other questions for Alula or for Evan on the other stuff that we've been going over.
I was just curious. Hello, Eric.
Yeah, hey, Robin.
For being here for us. Sorry, I didn't get your name at Dragon Labs.
Evan.
We're busy with Agent Monday, which is a community agent, which we're building for Crypto Mondays. And we've had some fun trying. We've been around the block a few times, and there's been a few people helping us build it. And I was just curious whether the mission of our agent is to help the Crypto Mondays community to learn, earn, and connect. I just wondered if there were any insights that you may have, or whether is that something down the track that you explained that you built or building? Because we'd like to learn from somebody if there's some things that you have that we could find useful.
It's a really good question.
We could share our journey with you. Maybe you could learn some lessons.
This is a really good question.
Not to do some of the things that we did, Yeah.
It's so cool to see different people from different walks of life, different professional backgrounds, all kind of converging on these similar ideas and concepts in their own unique ways. I think we all agree on what the problems are. It's just now like, how do we put this together and figure something out that not just solves the problem, but does so in a way that allows everyone else to play? Because if the answer to the problem is something that only benefits one company or one organization, then it's not the answer to the problem. So that's kind of the nuance in these types of things. And then for us, we look at that philosophically abstracted to the next level, because if we're looking at this idea of verifying information on the internet, whether it's verifying charity flows, verifying actions, community behaviors, contributions, assets, and so forth, there is a constant need to verify and validate what things are without revealing the information. And one of the biggest challenges is when you look at privacy systems, a lot of the architectures come down to the same fundamental issues of secret sharing, where essentially you have the information you're trying to keep private sitting in a database, basically. And it really only just adds one more step to preserving that information versus actually creating a fundamental cryptographic security for the information. However, again, we have to look at infrastructure, because you can't just say, oh, just this one zero knowledge solution is the answer, or this one blockchain is the answer, because that might not work for a lot of different projects or implementations or organizations or legal jurisdictions, or all these different idiosyncrasies that come to form this like emerging global economy. So the way that we've addressed this is we've created essentially a universal digital identity layer using verified credentials and decentralized identifiers, because what it allows us to do is essentially have a completely technology agnostic container that can be linked to anything. So anything that we want to verify or validate, whether it's coming from our applications, on-chain data, charity flows, it doesn't necessarily matter. All that matters is that the information was true that came to us. So it came from a verified source. And as long as that is true, then we can link that in such a way to where you can prove what people have or what they've done without revealing those types of things. So with Aionix, what we actually have is this application layer in our entire ecosystem. So you have one username that contains all of your social media information. It contains your addresses, your holdings, your achievements, everything that you've accomplished, but it's not actually keeping that information anywhere that could be revealed. It's just secured through the verified credential link. So what that enables us to do within our ecosystem is the ability to track progress universally between applications. If you have a community member that participates in, let's say, an AMA, they can get an achievement that can be recognized that not only can have its own standalone achievement, but it can also then serve as a data point for the future. In the same way that you look at like qualifying airdrop activity for holding or staking in a particular function. It's the same thing, just abstracted with a layer of privacy. So to bring that into what a community agent can look like, it's kind of the same idea. If you have the ability to create essentially like a super UUID, or really just a digital identity container, you could allow community members to, for one, they could validate their holdings of the token and have some type of a rank-based system without having like if you have an NFT, it's like obviously showing you which wallet that is. Or any other types of mechanisms there. You can also do, if you've looked at a lot of public Telegram groups, you might have seen the +1, -1 peer-to-peer reputation system, where the Telegram bot will allow like any community member to up or down vote this like rolling reputation score. But it just kind of sits in that bot and is really up to the organization to decide how they want to use it. With this particular methodology, you could take something like that, that's a very simple solution that's out there, it's very easy to integrate, and you could add that to an actual reputation layer to where you could have like essentially self-governing behaviors in your community that reinforce the actions and the values and the outcomes you want to have without necessarily needing to just dump like labor into moderating that or needing to do something. It's like it's addressing it at the actual game theory level.
So you can have it's like a karma score on Reddit. It gives you that option for any community that you're building.
A karma score that can then tell you your Xbox achievements and your assets and everything else, but it's all completely secure and it's infinitely future-proof because again, it's you just set up another API.
Well, I would much rather use your decentralized identity solution than WorldCoin's orb. Let me put it that way.
Come on, man! I made it $150 out of that. What are you talking about?
WorldCoin? Oh, come on. So,
well, that's great. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't get your name.
Sorry, I needed to update it. My name is Evan Fabrizio. I'm with Dragon Labs, also known as DLC Technologies.
You introduced me to Evan today, I think. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I got it. Okay. Well done, Lou. Thank you, Evan. So now I know who you're talking about. So we're going to have a chat together. Alan, Lou introduced you to Alan and myself, and we will
to help with Monday.
Got it.
Yeah,
got it.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great.
So we're going to have
kinds of collaborations on this call. So I wanted to bring in Boone. Boone, we haven't heard from you in a few months, I think, and be great to, if you want to give an update on your project and or just any questions or comments you have. If you're listening, if you're still there, sometimes we are multitasking on these calls, but Boone, if you want to chat, we'd love to hear from you. Boone might be multitasking, and that's all right. Let's go back. Let's go back to this conversation. So,
I'd like to hear from Miko's circle back.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, at least we have one agent in here, I guess, because I switched from Zoom to Google Meet. So,
well done for finding out how to record it. This is great.
Yeah, but I'm recording. At least I'm recording.
How did you get that right? Was you've got a paid Google, have you?
Yeah, there's a paid Google Meet, so I was able to record on it.
We've had problems with the other groups that's not being able to record them, so that's great.
That's how they get you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn it. Yeah.
But at least we got one AI note taker in here.
I have a suggestion. I don't know what your agenda for the day is, Eric. Do you have an agenda or not?
No, this was the agenda, was to just do introductions and open discussion. But if you've got something specific that you wanted to talk about, Robin, that would be great.
Lou and us have been thinking about, how do we make these things productive, and how do we, have something that's really beneficial coming out of it from a DAIAA perspective. And I just wondered whether we could do this. This is an easy one for me because this is my topic. So the other groups, I don't know or what they up to. But I thought what could be quite useful, and I think Lou actually sent me something the other day, of where we extract out of the conversations. We have some kind of monthly report that comes out of it.
You know what Agent Monday is supposed to be doing? Like,
yes,
aggregating all
I mean, okay, we're busy. What did somebody say about the agents? And how they're working? They still a bit of talk.
Yeah. Well, I'll talk about that next, because I don't think Evan or Lulu were on the call the other day. Maybe they were. Maybe they already heard my spiel. But we're only at like 60% accuracy on a lot of these agents, so you can't give them that much autonomy yet. So it's
But I thought it's pretty easy to take, if we could take the recordings and the note takers, and we actually just dumped it into Notebook LM or ChatGPT or one of those things, and then got insights out of the agentic. I'm particularly interested in agentic payments, so agentic commerce is a bit broader than what I'm interested in. But because it's e-commerce, commerce is we hang off the edge of e-commerce.
Payments is an important part of it. That's the subgroup.
But maybe we could do that, and then we can consolidate that into a monthly report or something that we could. Alan could maybe help us put up on the website with credits,
Well, I bet Evan's got a good summarizer for stuff like that.
Pardon?
But yeah, I bet it sounds like Evan's AI would work really well for doing that as well. But yeah, I love the Notebook LM visualizations, the mind maps that they give you, the briefing docs. Yeah, what Google put together with Notebook LM is really great for that assignment, like you just gave it. It's a lot easier if they're all YouTube videos. And actually, a lot of these are, right? Because in Notebook LM, you can just drop in all the YouTube URLs, and you don't have to worry about giving it all the transcripts. It makes it easy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll get you the record. You've been making you make a lot of these into YouTube and put them on the Crypto Mondays channel, isn't that right, Robin? Is there a DAIAA channel?
Well, actually, Lou went to find one that I did a while ago, but that's what we do. We do as Crypto Mondays. We put them up on the YouTube.
And
so we can do, if you can give it to us, we can put it up.
I have a whole bunch that I think are just in my Zoom cloud, and then there's this one. I'll try and get you all the because I think I've been not good at sharing all that stuff.
You were a bit busy.
Yeah. But no, this has been a really good one, Evan. I'm so glad you joined. What's next for Dragon Labs, and how can we help you? Like, what do you need? Like, who's your ideal customer profile? Like, what else? What other kinds of stuff can we help you with?
Sure. Well, first and foremost, thank you for having me here. It's awesome to be a part of the discussion and talk with other like-minded individuals.
Yeah.
What's next for us on the product side is the actual public release of our full conversational agent. And the idea is it gives you the same control of a search engine, the same like modularity of navigating any decentralized application or blockchain you want, but abstracted completely into natural language. And then, of course, this exists on a spectrum because you can't immediately go into full autonomy for, infinite privileges, but it is things you can step into. From a timeline perspective, we're looking at pushing this out probably within 4 weeks. So from this group, maybe being able to orchestrate some type of like a private demo, get feedback and some early testers, especially testers from the AI world that really know how to push the right buttons to try to break things. They're always good.
Yeah.
As far as clients, so we have a pretty small team and we only take on a few private builds at a time. Right now, we're 50, 60, 70% capacity as far as our build load goes. So we can take on a bit more, but we're not seeking a major volume. Most of what we do just occurs through like private referrals, existing social networks. It's so universally applicable. It's not too difficult to find a business that wants to have more efficiency in its data retrieval, or being able to create automated forms for your sales funnels or whatever the application is. But
Mhm.
the biggest thing that we could use is we're particularly interested in small businesses that want bespoke agents, not necessarily putting automation into their entire workflow, which
Mhm.
it can be done at just more of a significant task. We're looking at more specific actions that people want to automate. So again, let's a chatbot that serves as your intake for your lead generation. So you can have a conversational format to introduce your product, your business to a client, and then capture their information and send that to a form and rank it dynamically based off of whatever keywords or triggers you have for those types of leads. And then that way, your salesperson, your lead, sales manager is only getting 15 leads a day instead of 500 leads a day.
And they're higher quality.
Yeah, exactly. Just one thing. We have another a larger organization that we're working with, and they have they do I have to be really careful here, but they have some specific tasks that are time bound for them and occur hundreds and hundreds of times per day. And what we're talking about with them is how do we take these tasks that are like filling out forms and putting information from one system to another in a process that takes you 5 minutes, 200 times per day, and turn that into something that takes you 1 minute every time you do that. And then what does that open up for you and your team to take on more clients, to take on more revenue, to move your inventory faster, complete jobs, and so forth. And then, of course, in the Web3 side,
When you say, wait a second, when you say move your inventory, so that is very specific to people of stuff that they're shipping and logistics and the stuff you're talking about before.
Well, it could be inventory, but I also do mean inventory just in terms of contracts.
Hey guys,
So
I got
let's say,
12:30. But
All right, Lou,
guys.
thank you, Lou.
take care.
Let's say that you have, in this case, it's an organization that takes on contracts from larger organizations, basically as kind of like a formal authorized subcontractor. And their ability to drive more revenue is limited by their team's ability to complete these relatively redundant tasks. So in this case, adding in the automation just essentially allows them to, I use inventory kind of universally
It's an
there.
inventory
But
of services also. This is
Yeah.
an inventory of services. Yeah, that's great. Like China, it's the menu. Yeah, that's great. Got it. Since we were talking about logistics before, I shouldn't be so literal. But
And of course, we're open to Web3 integrations and partners and builds. We just are looking for people that are serious about doing things the right way. It's very easy to just do something that makes money short term in this industry, and that is not the direction we're trying to go. Like we're trying to make sure that we do everything as ethical as possible, as sustainable as possible.
Yeah, you've met like-minded people here in this subgroup. We're all building real stuff, and
Wonderful.
Yeah, it really is sad, that like 98% of the projects in this industry turn out to be Ponzi schemes in the end when you really dig under the hood. But it's amazing the 2% that we have that aren't, because it's some of the best stuff in the world. So we just have to keep shining the light on that stuff. Yeah, I mean, Alula and Evan, were you guys on the call on Tuesday, the DAIAA general call? Evan, were you on it?
No, this is our first DAIAA interaction.
Okay, great. Lila, were you on that call? I'll just talk a little bit about some of the stuff I had asked on that call. Was we saw an Agentic platform, a demo. Robin, what was it called? Lila says yes, you were on.
Israeli guys.
It was what? The Israeli guys. I'm forgetting the
yeah.
name. They had a great Agentic platform with all these different types of workflow agents. That it was a different approach than yours, Dragon, where yours are all bespoke for each client. They kind of had an inventory of a whole bunch of agents they had built for different types of workflows. And so it looked like you could just, and people, it was like an agentic marketplace, but I think you could build on their framework and design agents on their framework as well, from what I remember of it. So they're sort of in a beta phase right now, private beta, and they're coming out of it soon. But I was interested in the extent to which they have wallets incorporated in their agents, and they do. Almost any agent that you deploy, you start by connecting your wallet, step one. And so so that's good. So they're thinking of how all the agents have agentic potential, or agentic commerce potential, I should say, just this theme. And then I mentioned that I was on a panel last week in Santa Clara at Gen AI Summit, and was with looking for my phone. I don't know where I put it. It's over here. I think they're called Simular AI. And this guy, Ong Lee, spelled Li, who's the CEO, was on the panel with me. And he was saying, and this is the comment I mentioned earlier, that they've been working on all kinds of also workflow agents for businesses. And one of the main ones that was sort of their flagship agent they've been working on is just like a personal assistant agent that can do stuff like order DoorDash. And they found that just to get a DoorDash order correct 99% of the time is really hard, that they're only at like 65% accuracy right now, and it started at 40%. And he makes the point that, you know, for something like a personal assistant or even a shopping agent, you know, it might have hundreds of steps that it has to do for you, and it has to be at like 99% accuracy for all the steps. And so in the theme of the panel was AI agents and autonomy, so it was a really relevant question. And it makes me think that autonomy is a long way away for some things, but we are at 99% for a lot of things. Like another project I have called Kaya AI, we have a news agent, and it's just better than using generic ChatGPT or Mistral or Anthropic to do fact checks, and or just to get it, you know, get the credibility rating on any news story. And we haven't been able to get it to hallucinate yet. So that's one way it's better. And another way it's better is it always asks 5 more follow-up questions after every generative return it gives you to guide you into deeper inquiry into whatever news subject or political subject you're dealing with, which is so contentious now. And so a lot of people are just giving up on politics because they're like, I have no way to know what's true anymore, so I'm just checking out. And so we're trying to restore trust in media by giving an agent that we ideally want to put on chain, you know, so all of the stuff that it sources is on chain. So people have transparency, which is one of the things that's lacking in AI right now, is the black box problem. So that's what I love about AI and Web3 coming together, where we can give transparency, like we were talking about before. Now, okay, well, how did the agent make that decision? And what sites did it leave out? Well, if you're saying these are the credible sites, which are the ones you said were not credible? People want to see all of that to feel like they're getting an informed news story.
Eric,
Yeah.
sorry.
Go ahead.
So I've seen a fairly recent trend in the last few years of these kind of news aggregators coming together that will bring in information from across the political spectrum and then try to label it based off of the partisanship for that particular article, and then present that in like what attempts to be a more non-biased way. And
yeah,
I'm curious,
like Ground News is one
yes,
where they show the left, right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering, because what you're talking about, it seems like it would align so well to those types of systems where you can aggregate the information and then have the AI process it, because you're doing as much as you can to get as grounded information as you can, versus trying to just scrape it all from yourself. I don't know what makes sense.
100% it does, and that's actually our roadmap. So if you go to Kaya AI right now, which is spelled KAYEH.ai, KAYEH.ai, you'll see a Socrates chatbot that we call our news agent. So this is just version 1.0, where it's just a chatbot, but it is agentic in that it goes out and it does web searches as needed based on the type of question you ask it about current events or news or history. You can ask it anything. But so far we haven't had a beta tester. I haven't been able to get it to hallucinate. So I love the fact that it knows what it doesn't know and it never makes shit up. So that's one big part of the trust problem, and even using AI for fact checking it all. But our roadmap is the next version of this that will be launched. We'll have a news feed, and it will be a news feed that's curated by the agent. And we have a scoring system that the agent uses. It looks at like contextual completeness of a story. It looks at like some of the natural language stuff, like is it using clickbaity language? It looks at the credibility of the website itself. So over time, it develops credibility scores for all the sources where it collects stories. Or if you just ask it like, oh, what about Tulsi Gabbard's latest accusations against Obama? It's designed to ask it open-ended questions like that, or paste in URL of a specific story that you're not sure about.
Sorry for interrupting, Eric. Will you say that again? What was the site? I'm sorry, I couldn't answer earlier, but I was on the phone when you guys were asking.
No worries. But KAYEH.ai. I'll paste it in here as well. Yeah, we'd love to have all you try it. You'll see a feedback button on the side. So we love to, just a hot jar. So we love to get feedback from all of you. So yeah, so that's designed to be a maximally truth-seeking agent. And so like I was saying, right now it's not on chain, but we're really looking at, I mean, our CTO is really excited about Arweave and, loves the idea that we can just store copies of all the articles that the agent ever collects. That we could have a token model where people use the token to pay for AI usage if they want to do deep research. All right, just pay on demand. Don't buy a $20 a month subscription. Just pay with your tokens for your deep research that you need if you want the agent to go deeper. But have a free version that will always check a couple of sources. But the next step will be a news feed where it'll bring back with like a score or rating on it, so you can see that, like, and you can set it to just bring all the high scoring stuff that's credible on any topic. But we want to avoid the personalization algorithms and have it maybe just be chronological. We don't ever want to have ads. We want it to only be subscription based, like you'll pay $8 a month because it's, there's a market for news aggregators. People pay $8 a month for Apple News or for the Pro, or to get the ads taken off your ground news. I think you can pay. They all have these payment plans. So that's the monetization model. And then use a chain for that transparency of the provenance of where did a story start. Like, okay, well, who's like, where did that rumor or that conspiracy theory start? Who was the first blogger or Twitter X handle that first posted the idea? Like, if you can go to the original story on any topic, that will also give people a lot of insight and confidence into whether what they're looking at is fake or real.
Makes sense. Are you dropping the link?
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
let me drop that.
Sorry, Boom.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I just I was gonna share, like, when I'm on X and they have the community notes, it's usually individuals in the community that are contributing, and then you can review the notes, see sometimes if there's like credible, citations and things of why something is like community noted or whatever. And then sometimes it's just purely like speculation or opinions, or someone just doesn't like the narrative.
Well, and someone can try to bomb that community note with a certain, counter argument or with the fake stuff. So that's where our token model is going to be really useful. And we're kind of inspired by Yuma consensus that BitTensor uses, where you could reward people who are in the community note. Well, so that's our plan, is to add comments to all the stories that come into your feed, and then allow people who maybe want to be a whistleblower, maybe they actually have firsthand inside knowledge of the news story that they're looking at, or maybe they have some primary documents that they could actually share to prove that a story is true or false, that we would reward those types of contributions. That would be the main purpose of the token, actually, is to, any good tokenomic model is basically a reward, right? And it has to be a reward for valuable contributions. And so if someone is doing, so basically would be community notes with rewards, but penalties also. So if someone is trying to bomb the community notes with crap, they'll hopefully get voted out and penalized for doing that.
Absolutely. I also feel like there's a great opportunity with existing, I don't know, like if y'all are looking at that, like because Meta, for example, doesn't have community notes, right? Like anyone could post anything on there. TikTok, same thing. Like all the social media places, right? I feel like X has kind of pioneered a little bit of that, but there's still limitations in terms of, it's not incentivized. There's all of these like, bad actors that could potentially soil the information and all that. So I guess maybe from like just a go-to-market strategic perspective, is that kind of an area, or is it more like, are you focused on just building an application that people can subscribe to? And
yeah, we're focused on both. So it's just how we phase this stuff out. So right now it's just this chatbot. The next version is going to have the news feed. The next version will have comments on the news feed, and then allowing those comments to actually be community notes with rewards and penalties. So it's all planned as part of our product rollout.
Oh, well, now you got the wheels turning in my head. So I'm like, maybe I'll just tokenize all of the tweets, every scrape Twitter, and put everything on one of these blockchains and send it you guys' way,
Yeah, and that's essentially what we'll be doing, is just allowing anyone to tokenize news stories that they want. Yeah, I mean, that's what they all get tokenized based on the searches that you run and the prompts that you run. And then we'll allow people to publish like, oh, okay, you wrote a great prompt to dig deeper into some fact check or debunk or just research you were doing on current events, and then be able to share your prompts, share your threads, share your chats with other people. Yeah, and then maybe there's monetary token value given to those as well.
And you could also, just like the same way that you can have,
Mhm.
sports news and technology news and all these, it could get very technical. Like I think, Slack and not Slack, there's a, what is it, Overstack or something, right? Where they have comments, people will ask a question.
Substack, like Substack.
Exactly. So just from like that concept too, like there could be future of that as a verifiable, auditable, provenance focused, kind of source of information versus just random things that people find on a Google search. So.
Exactly. We want this to kind of be like serve some of the same function that Internet Archive serves, but it's just highly curated stuff that people wanted, push, like actually want their thread or their conversation tokenized, and so it becomes like Internet Archive but on chain for stuff that we don't want authoritarian regimes erasing history, right? And so if we're debunking stuff, especially stuff that the authoritarian regime of any country is putting out, that's the stuff that they're going to try to get taken out, right? So if you're on AWS and Bezos and Trump are buddies, how safe is your stuff, right? So that's where I love what Eric Bravik has built with Manifest, what Greg Osuri pioneered with the Kosh network, where you can have decentralized compute, decentralized storage, and have nodes hosted all over the world. So if one country tries to take it down, you can't because the content's backed up on several different nodes in all different places. So yeah, how do we have resilience against authoritarianism? That to me is the underlying question that all of these types of systems are going to need. Even agents that just do information, right? That like authoritarian regimes don't like people who are good at truth and facts, and all the blockchains are really good at that. So Trump may like crypto now, but when people stop putting any more money into the Ponzi scheme side of it, how much are they going to like the transparency of crypto and blockchain? So,
Eric, I'm again fascinated by the synchronicity here.
Yeah.
So another part of our system is essentially, this is more something that exists in our private builds, but it will make its way to a public build later on. Essentially, we use an LLM to monitor and scrape news headlines and articles from the top 15, 20 or so sources that are already aggregated themselves, and then extract the sentiments and then the assets mentioned or any related assets, then send it to our APIs to create an index using a machine learning model to identify exactly what tokens are the most contextually related to those, and then send that back to the agent to then trade either individually as a signal or as an actual basket. So you could have a headline that happens and then automatically ping that over, get an entire category of assets, an entire basket of assets for whatever your parameters are, whatever blockchain, whatever individual requirements you have for the type of assets you want to look for, and basically create real-time trading from news inputs. And the biggest variable for us right now is the quality and accuracy and speed of our news reporting, because the other side is done. That's already part of our product. Now we're just building on top of it and adding more functions.
So you've been working on this, a news marketplace. You've already been working on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
when can we try it out?
we'll have to come back to this as a discussion. I don't have something that I can share private or publicly at this stage, but the system that ranks and generates associated assets, that's all live. You can test that right now. I just don't have the automated function out to the public.
I love it. Yeah, maybe we can incorporate. Maybe we don't need to build. Maybe we could just incorporate some of that into our stuff. It'd be interesting. And you're building that as like a consumer app that you're just planning to launch at some point, or?
It's part of the Aonix application. The idea is that it becomes, again, like Internet Explorer for blockchain. You just talk to it for everything you want to
How do you
do.
spell Ionics, or is there a link you can share with the
Yeah, so here's the website. I'll put it in the chat. It's aonix.network. We get the full link one moment.
Okay.
Got to get your HTTPS.
Yeah.
And then the app itself, you can either just add the subdomain app.aonix.network, or you can click connect wallet on that'll just launch the new app. But yeah, that system, so you can use it as a search engine right now. And what's pretty cool is it's unlike any other search engine that we found in Web3. And in fact, you can test this right now by going to CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap. And you've probably experienced that if you're trying to find something other than a very specific token that you're already aware of, it's actually very difficult to find things with something like CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap. Like go to CoinGecko, go to in one of these and search up AI gaming. And you're going to get like a token that's literally called AI gaming paired with Solana that has.
So go to Launch Explorer and then search.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
And by connecting your wallet, we have it set up to where you're going to get some credits for free, so you can test it out. But yeah, basically you are applying direct keyword searches to this system in the way that it works, like with CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap. So if I search up something like AI gaming, I'm literally going to get a token called AI gaming that probably rugged a year ago and that has no activity on it, that has no relevance to what I was actually trying to search for. And even if I search for something like a well-known token, oftentimes you'll end up getting the fake liquidity pools or honeypots showing up in the top search results for the actual direct search. So the two ways that we solve that is, one, we cross-reference all the on-chain data to remove any projects that have not verified their socials, because almost every single honeypot or scam project doesn't do that because they don't exist, and that just adds more risk to them. So if you can just filter out that step, it automatically will remove most of the duplicates right off the bat. And then for the search itself, what we use is, again, a machine learning vector model that is able to extract the context of a keyword or the context of a query and search by relevant information. So if I search AI gaming, I'm not literally searching AI gaming. I'm searching what AI gaming means and what it means for gaming to be done in the AI world, and vice versa. That is what your search goes out. And and that's why if you try, again, this just as an arbitrary example, you'll get results that are actually about AI gaming that are not called that. And that type of that relational model is the foundation of how that smart index system works. So you can see very clearly how the keyword foundation is there. It just needs the signals coming in at a greater degree.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying it right now. I connected my wallet, but I'm getting a bunch of errors when I try to type any keywords into the search.
Yeah, I typed in like a token name, and it gave me like the charts and everything, and like the details, like the socials, and like it looks like you can even get granular and like similar tokens or similar projects and things like that. Yeah. It seems very
the relational model, it applies to multiple degrees of searching. Exactly. So you can go from here. You can either just try like a category or search within that index, or from a specific app that, token. Let's say I open up Hedera or something like that. I can get a list of assets that are contextually related. And you just have these like infinite streams of relational baskets that can be traded and optioned in virtually any way. Now, looking at this, if you go ahead and click, it looks like the free credits didn't claim. If you click in the top right, that user panel, the account wallet.
Here?
And yeah, if you click that, no, sorry, on the right. And go to down to the bottom. Is there something in rewards that you can claim? Okay, no.
Let me get rid of
Yeah,
reward.
try refreshing. Just try refreshing the page.
Okay.
cannot estimate gas fees. Transaction may fail.
You should immediately.
You're on the wrong network is the problem.
My
Binance Smart Chain.
I need to be.
It should have prompted you.
Oh,
yeah, you can swap that to Binance Smart Chain, but the credits should have populated immediately. We'll have to see what's going on here.
Okay. Yeah, I'm on
All
mine.
right, now just go ahead and refresh the page again.
Again. Yeah.
When in doubt, turn things off and on.
Mhm.
So this has been something we've been fighting with the ether.js integrations. Go ahead and refresh it for me one more time.
Sure, sure.
And it just comes down to like the order of operations and how things came in. Yeah. Well, why is it not getting that?
Yeah, it was.
What kind of machine are you on?
This is a Mac with Chrome.
Okay, Mac with Chrome.
Yeah, when I first did the Wallet Connect, I actually only gave me the Coinbase option, and it might be funny because I put in my password for Coinbase, and then it gave me the Coinbase MetaMask option, and then I went to MetaMask. So it might be the logic might be thrown off because I have both wallets in this browser.
Yes,
And we have the same issue on Bloxy actually. If you have more than one wallet and as browser extensions, it gets confused.
Yeah, we have had a similar issue with a similar circumstance where it was, yeah, the Coinbase was essentially overriding the MetaMask because the Coinbase integration is designed for mobile, not desktop. So thank you for showing me that that is still an issue. I thought that was completely fixed, and I'll get that resolved.
No worries. Yeah, no, I look forward to trying it in. I've got another browser login with just one wallet in it that I use for that stuff. So yeah, be happy to take a look at it. That's really exciting what you've built. Can't wait to see if it can help me with my tokenomic models and all the other stuff we talked about. So it'd be great on the warehouse stuff and on integrating with Bloxy to have some follow-up calls with you. And same CTO, Matt Kotnick, who works on both those projects with me. So it will just be one call.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'd love to dive in more.
Yeah, are you in the are you in the Telegram? If I send you a Calendly link there on the DM, you're in the DAIAA Telegram yet?
Yes, I am in the broader index. Yeah.
Okay, I'll look for you there, and if you can also just say hello in the Agentic Commerce subgroup Telegram, that'd be great.
Absolutely.
Paste your project in there. Put a link to it in our subgroup too. That's a great way to introduce yourself, and put the Aonics link in there. It's really awesome.
And if the trading Aonics one is going to be available and you need any testing or piloting or any of that good stuff, working on a couple bots right now. So I'd love to mess around with that. I think I'd say there's human intelligence and then there's AI intelligence, right? I think like the artificial intelligence, I think the convergence of the two is really where I'm trying to find some value here. So
yeah, this group is already proving to be enormously valuable, and we're really excited to be able to be a part of this community. We will absolutely, if you guys are interested, have the major releases pushed to this group first for testing and feedback. I think that's definitely the most appropriate way to do it.
Would love it. Would love it. We're honored and privileged to have you here, Evan. Well, let's wrap up. I actually have a call at 10 I've got to jump onto. It was so great meeting you, Alula. Thanks for coming back to us. Boone, thanks for listening in and being there in the background. Robin, thank you.
Yeah, I'll gladly share something next week.
Yeah. Would love to have you share in 2 weeks. We're doing this every 2 weeks.
2 weeks, I mean.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll look forward to that. Robin, thank you always for your support on this, and we'll see you all next time.
Thanks, Eric.
Have a great week, y'all.
Thank you all. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.